The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Using their third starting quarterback of the season, the Badgers simply went down to Bloomington and went to work and put a pretty good whipping on Indiana in the process. 62-14, Montee Ball rushing for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns. James White for 161, including 69 on a second quarter touchdown run, as the Badgers clinch a berth into the Big Ten championship game for the second straight year. We'll look back at some of the highlights from Saturday's game. We'll also take a closer look at Montee Ball as he's on the brink of NCAA history. And we'll hear from assistant coach Ben Strickland, and as always, a sit down with head coach Bret Bielema. It's all coming up on the Badgers Sports Report.
3rd and 16, 30 seconds left in the half. Phillips in the shotgun. Takes the snap. He'll hand it to James White, working the right side, trying to turn it back. Slips through. 35, cuts left 40. White 45-50, 45-40. Down the left side 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Wisconsin. James White, 69 yards. Montee Ball, the running back from the IU 49-yard line. First down Wisconsin. Here's the handoff to Montee Ball. Has a big hole, 40, 30-yard line, left side 20, 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin. Montee Ball, 49 yards, a gaping hole, and the Badgers blow it wide open. Kaufman back to throw, shuffles right, winds up, throws it deep down the field, and that is intercepted. 25-30, Devin Smith 40, 45-50, Smith down the sideline 40, 35-yard line, and finally punched out of bounds by left tackle Jason Spriggs as Devin Smith gets the interception. Badgers back in business.
One thing we harped on going into the game was stopping their offense. You know, they had a lot of progress throughout the season, making a lot of plays and making a lot of defenses look bad, you know, and we just wanted to go out there and, you know, make our mark and let everyone know, not only everyone in the nation, but ourselves know that what we're capable of doing and that we're able to stop pretty much any offense if we put our minds to it.
Ball high step to the 5, touchdown Wisconsin. Off Montana, 40, 45, 50. Fires picked off, Borland with room, 40, breaks a tackle, touchdown James White. The Wisconsin Badgers are headed to Pasadena. There it is, Ron Dames in zone, Abradaris, he has it, touchdown Wisconsin. And it's intercepted by Shelton Johnson.
The Badger Sports Report with Bret Bielema is brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, Coca-Cola, Charter Communications, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, Hyundai, Adidas, and UW Health, a cornerstone partner of Wisconsin athletics.
Football, Wi-Fi, wings. Now that's a business plan.
Glad you like it.
Question is, how are you liking charter business?
Well, our internet's a lot more powerful than with phone company DSL. It can actually run all this now. Plus, we've got reliable phone and we're saving like crazy.
Another everyday victory. Let me see your in-zone dance.
No, I don't dance.
All right, let's just do a flying chest bump and call it a day.
To save over 25% versus the phone company and get up to a $500 gift card, call now.
Hello, may I start?
Special, medium, water, lemon, 3 ice cubes. Thank you. Less, more, no, perfect. No, that guy.
Hi.
No.
Hello.
No.
Hi.
Yes. I'll take the Elantra, please.
Great. Which one?
An easy decision just got harder. Sorry about that. The Elantra, now also available in Coupe and GT. From Hyundai.
When you buy Wisconsin dairy products, your hard-earned dollar brings you more than just the quality and great taste you know and love. It supports the dairy industry, which in turn reinvests that money back into your community, resulting in better public services, abundant recreation opportunities, and a beautiful place to call home. In all, dairy contributes $26.5 billion to Wisconsin's economy and eventually comes back to benefit you. To learn more, visit youtube.com/dairyimpactwisconsin.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup is the crowning achievement in college athletics, awarded annually to the nation's best overall program in each division, both women's and men's sports. Celebrating its 20th anniversary, the Learfield Sports Directors Cup proudly honors exceptional student athletes and their schools. To follow your favorite team, visit thedirectorscup.com. Look for standings regularly in USA Today, or follow the Learfield Sports Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. The Learfield Sports Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Simply dominant performance from the Wisconsin Badgers on Saturday. 605 yards of total offense, 564 on the ground. And the Badgers have now clinched a berth into the Big Ten championship game for the second straight year. Congratulations. You guys have had some bumps and some tough losses and a lot of injuries, and now here you are.
I think a lot of credit goes to our players, just the perseverance. Been through some tough situations this year, tough games, tough injuries, guys popping in. We got our third-string quarterback coming in and winning his first game as a starter. I mean, just so many positives out of negative situations. It says a lot about our kids.
You talked during the week with Curt coming in to play quarterback. There's always attention on the quarterback. It's the nature of the sport, but telling everybody else, hey, let's bring it up a little bit, and 564 rushing yards would suggest that might happen.
Yeah, I thought our for us to win today, we needed to have our running backs play better, our O-line play better, our tight ends play better, and our wide receivers, and they all did it. I think a lot of credit goes to our coaches putting together a plan that obviously correlated to a lot of points, a lot of yards, but also our players just buying in and believing.
You're making statements early with touchdowns in your first two possessions, but Brett, the defense. Indiana's first 6 possessions were 5 punts and a fumble. That's some great work against a pretty potent offense.
Their offense has scored 24 or more points, I think, the last 10 games. We knew that going in, and our defensive players and coaches took a lot of pride in the preparation that they did last week and this week, and I think the execution today in adjustments. They'd made a couple wrinkles, and our guys adjusted, and to hold them to the point total and the yardage total was truly an outstanding defensive performance.
Take us through general terms, defensive philosophy, the keys when you're up against an offense that can snap the ball as quickly as
Well, I think the big thing, Matt, the games that we had seen them play against teams that play no huddle had been a scoring fest. The 50 points, 40 points, whatever it was. So we knew our offense was going to take care of part of that because they were going to control the clock, move the chain, score points. But our defense knew if we just kept the ball inside and in front of us, don't let it get behind us, don't give up big plays. The one scoring drive in the first half came when they were able to convert a few big plays. So our defense really did a nice job of being patient, not pressing, just kind of making the plays that were in front of them.
Time of possession, 39.5 minutes for the Badgers, 20.5 minutes for Indiana.
That'll win against Indiana. Yeah, absolutely. That's a formula that'll have success every time.
Big play of the game. It's 17-7. Late in the second quarter, your guys you're backed up a little bit. It's more than a little bit. It's 3rd and 16. James White, well blocked, led by one of the
Curt
key
Phillips,
blocks by the quarterback.
Well, we thought if we got 2 first downs, then we might try to, go into a hurry up. But our offensive coaches really believe, they're like, Coach, we're just like one block away, one broken tackle away from hitting a big one. And they went with the run there, and obviously James White made a few things happen, but our guys were blocking them up, and then Curt Phillips escorts your running back into the end zone. It's a pretty special play.
You look at Curt's passing statistics, 4 of 7, but on the drive early in the third quarter, it's 24-7. You guys get the second half kickoff, and then it's a 4th and 2 at the Indiana 30. Linebacker comes in, but Curt holds his composure there. Now, that was a big pass.
Huge play. 4th down, game was still a little bit in question. We'd probably be able to handle anything that happened there, but Curt delivers a throw, right in the face of a defender that's unblocked, and we had confidence as coaches in him. And when it was 3rd down, I told the coaches, hey, you got 2 here. Matt came up with 2 consecutive calls. Obviously, it worked, and that's the thing I've enjoyed. We got a lot of new faces, and our coaches have just gotten better about knowing our personnel, and obviously to come full circle today with a new quarterback is really saying a lot.
It was fun as a fan of the game to watch Curt run. He had a couple runs in the first quarter, and then the 50-yarder there. Yeah, they caught up with him, but boy, to see him, he didn't show any fear out there.
No,
with the ball, did he?
He's a guy that plays without fear. He's kind of a no-nonsense, business-like guy. Really liked the preparation he had, going into the game. I knew our players would rally around him. It says a lot about what they believe in, and it also helps when you got a quarterback that's out in front of a running back throwing blocks. I mean, he really does a lot to inspire people around him.
Curt ran for 68 yards. Montee Ball for 198. James White 161. Let's not forget Melvin Gordon, 96 yards. He was hungry on that last touchdown run his touchdown run that he had late in the game. Right?
Yeah, he's probably had the 2 best weeks of practice. I told the media afterwards, I don't know if we've got a guy on our team the last 2 weeks that's practiced as hard as Melvin, and he's got a very bright future and something I think he'll be able to carry the baton here at Wisconsin for years to come.
It's fun to see some other guys get in the game. We saw Tyler Merritt's get in the game late. Ryan Groyce sliding over to center. Jeff Lewis getting in the end zone too. I mean, here's a guy that he's pretty good, and you don't get to see him very much because your other guys are all American.
He covered a couple kicks. You look at Kenzel Doe. Here's a guy that came in as a wide receiver. He downs a ball on the 1 yard line. He's involved in a long reverse that gets called back, and he doesn't complain. He just works. These kids are so much fun to be around, and I know we've won through some trials and tribulations this year, but to be a 7-3 team that's headed to Indy, that has 2 games in front of us to kind of go against the leaders division best, it's really a fun time to be in the program.
All right, the Badgers have their home finale on Saturday afternoon at Camp Randall Stadium. Senior Day, always a lot of emotion that goes with that. Badgers hosting Ohio State, a 2:30 kick at Camp Randall Stadium. Coach Bielema rejoins us a little bit later in our show. We'll also step inside the coach's classroom with assistant Ben Strickland. All that and more as the Badger Sports Report continues.
You guys got 62 points. What does that say about how the offense played today?
It just shows how hard we can practice and make sure that our main focus was to carry forward to the game and execute, and I believe we did. And once everybody's on the same page and starts clicking, it's a great feeling.
You're close to breaking a record. What would it mean to you to break that record at Camp Randall in front of 80,000 people?
It means a lot. It's an honor, it's a blessing, and I believe it's everyone's record, and I'm looking forward to getting it if I do, and like I said, that's just going to be a blessing.
Yeah, having those guys up front, we don't need the quarterback to do anything special, just let those guys make plays.
Last one, can this be a confidence builder for this team, clinching the Big Ten championship game and going into a big one against Ohio State?
Definitely, especially for me getting going a little bit, but those guys up front are rolling, backs are playing well, receivers doing well, defense played a hell of a game, so it was a lot of fun.
Last year I wasn't able to go, being hurt, but this year, I'm very excited. That was one thing I really wanted to do, is go back there to the Big Ten championship and actually be able to participate. So I'm very excited about that, and I think our team, of course, is definitely very excited. That's something we really worked on. Last time Ohio State was here, it was a big game, and the fans were wild. Camp Randall was pretty much rocking everywhere, and we're pretty excited just to go back out there and one more game against Ohio State undefeated.
Where others saw lumber, we recognized a treasure. Where others saw the night, we chose the stars. Where others saw pieces, we unlocked the puzzle that could mean the end of paralysis and cancer. Since 1848, thinkers and achievers at Wisconsin have fearlessly sought ideas that transform the world. Keep on, Wisconsin. Keep on.
Worth wide to the left, Jordan Frederick to the right. Derek Watt, Montee Ball in the I formation. Phillips will give it to Ball, trying to bounce it outside to his right, slips a tackle, ball to 10, ball to 5, ball to the end zone, touchdown Wisconsin. Montee Ball from 10 yards away, 6-0 the Badgers. 2 tight ends right side of the formation, straight eye backs behind Phillips. Takes the snap, gives the ball, dives over the top into the end zone, touchdown Wisconsin. Montee Ball in for the second time today and make it 30-7 Wisconsin. Montee Ball, the running back for the IU 49-yard line, first down Wisconsin. Here's the handoff to Montee Ball. Has a big hole, 40, 30-yard line, left side 20, 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin. Montee Ball, 49 yards, a gaping hole, and the Badgers blow it wide open.
It starts up front with them, and they know that, and they execute it, and I didn't want to let them down, so I made the right read, and it's going to take the house.
We are pioneers, pathfinders, trailblazers. Every day we explore the biological frontier in search of a cure for cancer, inventing treatments, establishing protocols, bettering humankind. We are the world-class physicians, researchers, and healthcare professionals at the University of Wisconsin Carbone Cancer Center, Wisconsin's only NCI-designated comprehensive cancer center. UW Health. Remarkable.
Your family's favorite shows shouldn't have to fight to be seen. With Charter, you get 4 DVRs, so now every family member can watch what they want, when they want, where they want, without any battles. Call now to get DVR service for your home.
Hello, may I start?
Special, medium, water, lemon, 3 ice cubes. Thank you. Less, more, no, perfect. No, that guy.
Hi.
No.
Hello.
No.
Hi.
Yes. I'll take the Elantra, please.
Great. Which one?
An easy decision just got harder. Sorry about that. The Elantra, now also available in Coupe and GT. From Hyundai.
Ah, the workout is over. Time to recover, refuel, and re-energize. Recent studies suggest that one drink can help muscles recover faster than other leading sports drinks. Delicious, nutritious chocolate milk. With its powerful package of protein, potassium, calcium, and 6 other essential nutrients, shouldn't chocolate milk be your choice? Got chocolate milk?
He's at the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown!
The Coach's Classroom is brought to you by Hyundai.
Hi, I'm Ben Strickland here in the Coach's Classroom. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about press technique. There's a lot of different ways to teach press technique. Here at the University of Wisconsin, there are 3 basic fundamentals that we try to teach our kids in a teaching progression accordingly so that they can have success on the field. The first step is called the mirror step. A mirror step is just quick 6-inch steps so that they stay in a leveraged position on the receiver. They have their eye control is on the hip, the near hip of that receiver. Obviously you see the flat back, bent knees. Their feet are about shoulder width apart. That's their stance. They got their arms up ready to shoot to be able to use them as weapons to be able to redirect that wide receiver. In the drill, we have the receiver who's going back and forth. The defensive back, who in this case is Antonio Finellis, has his eyes screwed on that hip, and he's just taking 6 short 6-inch mirror steps to be able to mirror his reactions. All right, whichever way the receiver moves, that's the way he's going to move. So as you see again, those 6-inch mirror steps. All right, he's not taking big steps, he's not hopping. All right, just keeping those cleats in the ground so he's able to redirect and react to what the receiver's showing him. The next part of the drill is called the kick step. All right, so as that receiver, you can see from the back view, we're still working the mirror step. All right, from the back, you can see the mirror step. He's continually trying to stay in the position he started in as he's reacting to that receiver with his eyes screwed on the hip. Once he transitions upfield, then he's doing what we call the kick step. On the kick step, all right, he opens his hips at 45 degrees. He doesn't want to open them all the way. All right, that'll give the receiver a free release. All right, he releases at 45, so he puts himself in a position to be able to run with the receiver, but also to widen him off his path and disrupt him. So here you see the kick step, and the big thing that he's doing here is on that kick step, he's not crossing over right away. All right, a receiver, those first couple initial steps, all right, he's either going or he's coming back against you. So if you cross over, a lot of times what you'll get is a guy out of position. Keep your feet square, keep them apart. All right, once he does transition upfield, our eyes stay on the hip, and then we're able to transition to a crossover run once he gets in a vertical position. All right, here we got another defensive back, Peniel Jean, who's doing the same drill. Now he's incorporating his hands. The past drill you saw Antonio wasn't doing it. Now we're incorporating the hands to work in conjunction with the kick step and the mirror step. So here, as he releases, he's in the framework of the body of this defensive back. If he's within that framework, this defensive back can use 2 hands to jam him in order to disrupt his release. Once he starts going upfield, he goes from a one-hand to a two-hand jam to a one-hand jam. This is what we call the dead arm, long arm. The dead arm, he dead arms the side to the release. All right, he long arms to the near breastplate as his aiming point to continue to carry him upfield and stay in a vertical control position, as you see him doing right there. The last part of the drill. All right, we talked about 3 steps. You have the mirror, the kick, and now we have the finish. On defensive drills where we're defending the fade ball, we have to do a technique called lean and locate. In the lean and locate, we're in phase. We've realized it's the point of the route where he's going deep. Our eyes are on the hip. Now we got to transition and look back for the football and become the receiver ourselves. All right, so as we're in position, all right, to lean and locate, we want to have that near shoulder. All right, try to hit the breastplate, not get too far over the top or too far underneath. All right, in this drill, it's important the receiver continues to keep running and adjusting off the ball. All right, as you see here on the finish, Antonio's going up to high point the ball, tucking in the outside arm and finishing down the sidelines. All right, that's the lean and locate. Again, just go one more time. All right, that shoulders to the near breastplate. He's turning his head to find the ball while continually staying in contact with him and in a dominant vertical position where he can feel him, continue to run, and then go be the receiver and make a play on the ball. Here's an example of that in practice. We have a defensive back down here at the bottom, Terrence Floyd. All right, like to see him do a better job of using his hands in conjunction with his feet, but he's moving his feet. He's taking those mirror steps to mirror the release of the receiver, taking that kick step. Now he's in a position where he's dead arm and long arm to the side of release. As he works vertical, he knows he's going deep, so now he's got to work to a lean and locate position. All right, here he's in a trail position, all right, but understands he has enough time to get to that receiver's hip to be in phase, to look back for the ball, and to successfully make a play on the ball. Again, trying to get the ball at its high point, becoming the receiver, and we got a turnover right there. Here we got another example, a game example. Antonio Finellis, the defensive back up top. What we teach our guys in press technique is they want to have 1.5 to 2 yards of separation between him and the wide receiver. All right, that gives them time and space to react, but also it allows the receiver to chew up ground and have to make a decision in a quick amount of time. But again, would like him to hug the line of scrimmage if he's playing off. All right, but you see he's keeping his feet hot. All right, on the release, he's within his framework. He goes to a two-hand jam. All right, goes to a one-hand jam. The receiver does a pretty good job of knocking the hands down. He works the close of the hip to lean and locate. Ball's behind his head, is able to redirect, all right, and knock the ball down for a PBU. A big play in the game right there. I'm Ben Strickland. Thank you for coming into the coach's classroom.
More Wisconsin fans choose Chevy over the competition.
Here's why. Chevy Malibu gets up to 37 miles per gallon with more standard horsepower than Ford Fusion or Toyota Camry. Malibu's warranty is 40,000 miles longer than Ford and Toyota. Plus, Malibu comes with OnStar and the available new MyLink system. Right now, lease a Chevy Malibu for $199 per month.
Great fuel economy, high-tech features. Now that is a winning combination. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
What light does gets in your head. You can't avoid it. You can't escape it. Because what light does weighs on you. Do what light does in the 7.9-ounce Audi 05 Star.
These are the heavyweights, the visionaries, the A-listers. These are the people inventing the technologies and establishing the protocols for treatments that don't yet exist. This is who you turn to when no one else seems to have the answer. These are the world-class physicians, researchers, and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the University of Wisconsin. UW Health. Remarkable.
The Badger Sports Report with Bret Bielema is brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers. Coca-Cola. Charter Communications. The Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. Hyundai. Adidas. And UW Health, a cornerstone partner of Wisconsin athletics.
This week's Great Day and Great Question of the Week comes from Bill in Lancaster, knowing it's senior day. So, Coach, people have an idea about Montee Ball and his perseverance to get where he is right now. The other guys in that senior class really surprise you with what they've had to overcome along the way?
Bill, that's a great question. There's probably a couple guys that jump out to me. The first would be Mike Taylor. His first year went through an ACL, playing his tail off as a redshirt freshman. Actually, even before that, as a true freshman, went through another surgery. Has had several setbacks, but he always moves forward and playing as good as any linebacker I've ever coached. Another guy, Devin Smith. Here's a guy that never redshirted, played last year, was playing great football. Fourth game of the year, breaks his foot, and to play the level he's at right now, I pimped him a little bit with that interception. He couldn't get it in the end zone. So, it's a true story of all of our seniors. It's a small number, only 9 seniors, but they truly are made of gold. They're just tremendous kids that come back year after year.
Been a part of a lot of wins in their time as the Wisconsin Badgers, and they get to play in front of the home crowd one more time this season. Bill from Lancaster, we thank you for your question. The Great Dane with 4 locations in Madison on the east side of town, downtown, Hilldale, and Fitchburg. Of course, that's where we gather the Fitchburg Great Dane every Thursday for Coach Bielema's radio show. And we'll tell you once again, the good folks in Wausau, there's a Great Dane up there as well. Join us next week. We recap the home finale against Ohio State and look ahead to the end of the regular season when Wisconsin travels to Penn State. Thanks for watching.
For more than 60 years, the Mendota Gridiron Club has been a loyal supporter to the Badger football program. In my 20 years in college football, I have never seen anything like the Mendota Gridiron Club. As a member, you'll get closer to the program with weekly meetings during the season, special events, golf outings, and more. In today's tough economy, we appreciate your support now more than ever. Become a part of something special. Become a Mendota Gridiron Club member today.
What light does gets in your head. You can't avoid it. You can't escape it. Because what light does weighs on you. Do what light does in the 7.9-ounce Audi 05 Star.
Where others saw limits, we found a key to feeding a hungry planet. Where others thought big, we proved the power of small. Where others saw a frozen desert, we discovered a lens into the heart of the universe. Since 1848, thinkers and achievers at Wisconsin have fearlessly sought ideas that transform the world. Keep on, Wisconsin. Keep on.